Howdy, my name is Adamari de la Cerda, and my partner Mario Flores Castro and I will be discussing our first experimental lab report on hand washing. To begin, hand washing is an important part of lab safety protocols that aims to prevent the spread of contamination. In fact, the Center for Disease Control recommends to scrub hands with soap for at least 20 seconds in order to effectively prevent the spread of germs. When it comes to laboratory practices, washing hands before experimentation reduces the risk of introducing external microbes. It is equally important to wash hands after an experiment, as it prevents the spread of microbes beyond the laboratory. With that said, the purpose of this experiment is to understand the differences between washing hands with water versus with soap. The end goal is to identify the effectiveness of hand washing with soap as an essential safety and healthy practice. When conducting this experiment, the materials that were needed were four blood agar plates, a saline solution tube, eight sterile cotton swabs, soap, a sponge, and deionized water. Before getting started, however, it is important to note that this experiment required the use of the left and right thumbs. When labeling the blood agar plates, the letter R will refer to the right thumb, while the letter L will refer to the left thumb. Lastly, for best results, no prior hand washing should take place before the experiment. To get started, four blood agar plates were labeled with R representing the right thumb and L referring to the left thumb. In the next step, a sterile cotton swab was dipped into the saline solution before swabbing the right thumb and inoculating R1. Using the same hand, the right thumb and pointer finger were rubbed together under deionized water for 1 minute before inoculating R2. Then, the right thumb and pointer fingers were rubbed again under deionized water for 3 minutes before inoculating R3. Lastly, the same fingers were rubbed once again for 6 minutes before inoculating the final section labeled R4. To note, this part of the procedure utilized the left thumb. In step 6, a sterile cotton swab was dipped into the saline solution before swabbing the left thumb and inoculating the section labeled L1. Then, the left thumb was scrubbed with a soapy sponge for 1 minute, rinsed with deionized water, and then swabbed for inoculation of L2. Step 7 was repeated for 3 minutes before inoculating section labeled L3. Lastly, the same fingers were scrubbed for 6 minutes before rinsing and inoculating the section labeled L4. The final step was to simply place all materials away, wipe the workspace, and wash hands.
These were the results for the right hand. We can see how in R1, that's the thumb, before washing, there was no bacterial growth observed. However, in R2, which is 1 minute after water washing, there was plenty of bacterial growth. In R3, that's after 3 minutes of water washing, we can see how there was only one bacterial colony present. However, this one was bigger than those from R2. In R4, that's after 6 minutes of water washing, there were several bacterial growth. It is important to consider this, that in R3 and in R4, there was not as much bacterial growth as observed with R2. And these were the results for our left hand. We can see how in L1, that's before it was washed with soap, there was plenty of bacterial growth observed. However, in L2, which is with only 1 minute of soap washing, there was only one bacterial growth observed. With L3, which is after 3 minutes, and L4, which is after 6 minutes, there was no bacterial growth observed. It is important thing to note that there was no bacterial growth observed as soap washing time increased. For more plates that correspond to the right hand, we concluded that simply washing hands with water is not enough to eliminate bacteria. Although bacterial growth was decreased after longer periods of water washing, it is not effective, as, as we saw bacterial growth even after a long time of washing. It was important to note that in R1, which was supposed to be before any washing, there was no bacterial growth. This may be due to improper swabbing or accidental hand washing prior to the experiment. With the plates that correspond to the left hand, we can see how more time spent hand washing with soap decreased the presence of bacterial growth, if not completely eliminated. Compared to no use of soap, L3 and L4 do not present any bacterial growth, proving that soap and time is more effective than simply water washing with less time. Thank you.